On Wednesday, Governor Wolf announced a $1.7 billion plan to help Pennsylvania fully recover from the pandemic, with support for families and workers, small businesses, the healthcare system, and statewide community revitalization via monies received through the American Rescue Plan. Governor Wolf called on the legislature to take immediate action on the proposed plan, which calls for a number of things, including $500 million for the Pennsylvania Opportunity Program, $225 million for COVID relief statewide small business assistance program, $204 million for property relief for low-income renters and homeowners, $325 million in support for Pennsylvania's healthcare system, $450 million for investing in conservation, recreation, and preservation. This week, Pennsylvania Senators Yudichak and Laughlin announced their intention to sponsor legislation to make cocktails to go permanent in Pennsylvania. This followed PRLA Director of Government Affairs Zach Pisek's testimony at a Senate hearing on aid packages for businesses affected by COVID. Senator Laughlin queried Zach about the importance of cocktails to go during the hearing. Of course, this would be immensely helpful to restaurants that serve cocktails, and in a survey of PA residents, more than 70% of respondents said that cocktails to go should be made permanent. We continue to work on other legislative priorities as outlined during the PRLA Policy Committee retreat last week. Some of those include, from the Alcohol Service Committee, increasing the licensee discount from 10% to 15%, supporting the efforts to privatize the sale and service of alcoholic beverages in Pennsylvania, and supporting legislation allowing the sale of ready-to-drink cocktails by licensees. From the Lodging and Tourism Committee, increasing statewide tourism marketing funding, the Tourism Improvement District enabling legislation, and the formation of an exploratory group to consider new strategies to enact a uniform post-Labor Day school start date in the Commonwealth. From the Government Affairs Committee, the expansion of the COVID Hospitality Industry Relief Program, legislation allowing the use of association health plans in Pennsylvania, which would dramatically reduce the cost of health insurance for small employers, and relief for unemployment charges. This week, it was reported that a key inflation gauge, the measure of prices that is closely tracked by the Federal Reserve, rose 5.8% last year, the sharpest increase since 1982, as brisk consumer spending collided with snarled supply chains to raise the costs of food, furniture, appliances, and other goods. The National Restaurant Association released its 2022 State of the Restaurant Industry Report, a comprehensive overview and outlook of the industry. Key findings include the food service industry is forecast to reach $898 billion in sales in 2022. The food service industry workforce is projected to grow by 400,000 jobs for a total industry employment of 14.9 million by the end of 2022. More than half of restaurant operators said it would be a year or more before business conditions return to normal. 96% of operators experienced supply delays or shortages of key food or beverage items in 2021, and those will likely continue in 2022. 51% of adults say they aren't eating at restaurants as often as they would like, which is an increase of 6 percentage points from before the pandemic. This week, we celebrated Groundhog Day 2022. Unfortunately, after spending the last year in quarantine due to the pandemic, Punxsutawney Phil was back at it again, forecasting 6 more weeks of winter after seeing his shadow during the annual event at Gobbler's Knob in Punxsutawney. I should point out that meteorologists report that Phil has been correct about 39% of the time. Lastly, I'm delighted to welcome Lauren Bryn-Jack to the PRLA team. Lauren, who brings with her an impressive background in Harrisburg legislative circles, will fill out our government affairs team as senior director. Working side by side with Director of Government Affairs Zach Pisek, and along with support from Clint Cullison at Greenlee Partners, I'm confident that the new PRLA GA team will provide unparalleled support for our great industry. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of It Happened This Week. I'm John Longstreet, and I'll see you again next time.